If anybody's on the chat right now, I just need a couple minutes to send out links to everyone. There it is. Oh no! My live stream's not loading for me. What's going on? Let me just check something. Oh, it's working. I can't get in my own live stream. I think my computer is having a problem.
This one's the perfect gift for the friend who's been getting...
Oh, here we go. Okay. I think we're live. I think we're current. Mic check seems to be working. Hey, what's up, guys? Give me a minute. I want to send out links to everyone. I think we're good. We're not quite ready yet because it's not exactly 7. I try to do this stuff ahead of time. Alright, I'm going to grab a link to this and then share it to everyone who's not here. I'm also going to kill... Let me kill the audio so you guys don't hear me twice. I'm trying to, by the way, if you're on the Discord server, I have that open, so if you have any questions, I'll be looking at that as well. And I'm going to be sending notification out to everybody. Basically, everyone I have their information, I'm just going to send it to everyone I know. Alright guys, I'm almost ready. Let me just get these out to everyone, and then, sorry. I think a bunch of you guys are actually here. But just in case, I want to get it out to everyone. I feel bad not getting everyone on the live stream because it's my chance to really hang out with everybody. And if I miss sending you a link, it's not because I don't care. It's because I feel like I'm being very boring right now, and I just want to get everything out to everybody. I think I have everyone. Oh, you know what? I should do one more. Sorry. Give me a minute. Let me go onto the Facebook group and just put up a post for everyone. Yeah, thanks, Lunar. I'm doing that right now. I think that's the last place I have to go. The Discord server, I just sent the link, and then I'll go on the Facebook group. And then, let's see. Okay, sorry if I look really dumb on camera right now. Okay. Alright, so I got the Facebook group, I got the Discord server, and I got all the friends that I remembered to go to. Sorry if I didn't send you something. It's not because I don't care. It's because I feel pressured because I have so many of these to send out. Okay, alright, so how's everybody doing tonight? I don't think I have a subject that I chose tonight. I'm just doing a live stream because I like hanging out with everybody. So it's really cool that you guys came. I appreciate it. So if you haven't, again, if you're watching on the Discord server, feel free to ask any questions. I have that open. I know I have a couple other friends. I feel bad not messaging everybody, but I do appreciate everyone who's here right now. I guess I'll just start by talking about what I was doing today. Today I was working on the Miata. Well, I was messing around with the Cruze. I figured out how to put an atmospheric blow-off valve on that car. But I was also messing around with the Miata. And in the background, when I was in between stuff I was doing to the Cruze, I was messing around with the Miata. I put a supercharger on it from a Mini Cooper, so I was trying to get that finished and on the road, and then the Equinox, so I was playing around with that today too. Lunar, you were asking any updates on a supercharged Cruze. Sort of. I am in the process of tackling, basically the big turbo cars make this weird flute high-pitched noise that anybody with a big turbo on a Cruze pretty much knows what I'm talking about. A lot of people are okay with it. Some people hate it. The Bad News Racing Turbo, the ZZP Turbo, and the Turbo Bay Turbo all sort of make it. It's just the way the turbo's designed. It's really not anything you can do about it at the turbo, per se, but I figured out a way to sort of kill it with some changes to the intake system. So I was messing around with that, and I want to finish. I want to come up with a concrete solution for that problem. Then once I'm done with that, the next step is getting the big turbo off. I'm going to sell the big turbo to someone, which I haven't advertised for sale. There's no one ready to buy it yet, but the big turbo that's on the car I'm just going to sell. I'm going to have a custom manifold made, or I'm going to make a custom manifold so I can run a regular exhaust system. And then I have a supercharger I chose for the Cruze. I'm going to sort of turn it into like a Cobalt SS style engine, so where it's a Ecotec with a supercharger versus an Ecotec with a turbo. For those of you who don't know what the Cobalt SS, it basically was an early 2000s version of the Cruze. I think it was right in between, what was that other car? You had the Cobalt, the Cavalier SS, or the Cavalier Z24. Then we had the Cobalt SS, which was first supercharged, then turbocharged, and then we ended up with the Gen 1 Cruze and the Gen 2 Cruze. So I sort of want something a little bit like that, where it's a supercharged engine. So that would be my next big project on that car. Plus, I have some other stuff coming to the channel too. I was talking to someone else tonight about basically I work on so many different cars that it's like when I started the channel, every week would be basically a different car. So it would be like a Corvette one week, then it would be a Corvette, then a Jetta, then the Cruze, then it would be like the Cobra. And what I think was happening was everyone got very confused because every week it was something different, and it didn't really seem like it was the same channel every time. So I started focusing just on the Cruze because basically after doing YouTube for a year, I had to focus on one thing, and then I don't like merchandise. Like, I'm not a merchandise guy, so I decided to develop parts for the Cruze. So I sort of focus on the Cruze a little bit more because I have to sell parts. If I don't sell parts, I can't do YouTube for a living. The membership helps. And, some of the videos have like a super thanks where you can donate on a video. Like, if you really like a video, you can donate. All those little things help, but the big thing that helps is actually selling parts. If I don't sell parts, I can't keep the channel going. So that's sort of why I focused on it. So yeah, I'm gonna. By the way, if there's any questions you want to ask, if you ask it and I don't answer, I plan on going back into the chat, seeing what questions I didn't answer, and I will answer them before I end the chat. So if there's anything I missed, don't worry, I'm gonna get back to you. Okay, let's see. Custom manifold for the Cruze. You would be the first, and wow, that would be a game changer. Yeah, I have. As far as a supercharger goes, as a hobby, like YouTube aside, as a hobby, if I came across a cool supercharger from a different car and it was cheap enough, I just bought it. So I have a couple superchargers sitting in the shop that I found for like $100 here, $100 there, 200 bucks. Maybe I found an entire supercharger kit from a different car that I was gonna just flip for some extra cash, and it's just still shitting in the shop because I'm so busy I haven't messed with it. So I have a plethora of superchargers and a few turbochargers that are just sitting in the shop that are for different various projects that I'm gonna try and see if I can fit them. I found one that I think will work. It should be good for about 25 pounds of boost with the right size pulley. So that's the one I want to go with. So it should fit right in between the accessory drive on the engine and the exhaust manifold. So that'll be something I'm going to be messing with. I shouldn't say soon, but it'll be something I want to mess with for sure. Travis, let's see. Need to blow the dust off the motorcycle. Yes, I do. So I did some videos on the motorcycle, which did okay. I love that motorcycle, and I'm at the point where I'm so busy with YouTube that if I'm not doing a video on one of the vehicles or the motorcycle, I'm just not touching it because I work so many hours, and I really need to just get out and use these things. And the motorcycle, I did a couple videos where I figured out how to do a shift light. I did a custom exhaust system, and I got some really cool footage of me riding the motorcycle from like a rider's point of view, and then the audio was just right, and there was no wind noise. Like the motorcycle footage came out awesome. But I don't know. The channel, it's not a motorcycle channel, and I think someone coming to Dave's World isn't looking for motorcycle stuff. But I do enjoy the motorcycle, and one of these days I want to actually build a motorcycle. That was definitely on my bucket list. Travis, I'll come get it. Yeah, you you send me some awesome videos and pictures of the stuff you play with. I really like that motorcycle you got and the views that you have by your house. It does make me jealous. Like I really want to get my motorcycle out and use it this year. Summer just started, so I'm one of those people where I work like 10-hour days. So if I can get the motorcycle out for 10 minutes, that's pretty much a lot. Let's see. Finally got my KO4 in the Jetta working mint thanks to your videos. Hey, K1R, I appreciate that. That Jetta video series was a video series that was my first attempt at YouTube. And I feel bad because I'm so much better at editing now, which is 2 years later, and my videos are... I don't want to toot my own horn, but they're so good now versus the way they were that I kind of want to take all of... Like, how do you feel about me taking the Jetta video series and then sort of redoing it in a better, like a high definition or reimagined way? I sort of want to do that, but I've been so busy with Cruze stuff that I haven't really gotten around to doing that. I know last time people were asking me like what my hobbies were, and it was hard for me to answer that question, but I realized that my hobbies are what you guys see on YouTube. So video editing, tinkering with the cars, figuring out how to make stuff fit, taking apart from one car, putting it in another one, like those are my hobbies. So doing them for a living, like sitting there and redoing the Jetta series, which I would love to do, takes away from work, but at the same time it is work. So I was thinking of doing that. Just let me know what your feedback would be. Let's see, Beal Knee. Hey Dave, how's it going? I'm good. I hope you're doing well as well. I just got some new wheels on my CB1000R. Oh, that's nice. Are they carbon fiber? That's usually a big upgrade for those bikes. Not that they have to be carbon fiber, but usually it's, or you know what I really like too is like a polished. Actually, those bikes look good with a lot of things. White wheels, polished aluminum, chrome. Did you do like an extended swing arm or a wider wheel while you're at it? Let's see, Jeff. Practice makes perfect. Yes, that is very true. It takes a lot of time. Let's see, Elazar. You know what? You know what? I'm not going to say people's last names. What I started realizing is a lot of people may not be here right now, but they'll watch this video later on like a podcast, and I read everything for a reason, because if they're listening to it, just listening, I want them to know who I'm interacting with, because the live chat won't be there in front of them. and more people listen than they watch actually. So they'll just play my live stream and they'll just leave it on so they can hear it. So I'll just say Elazar. That's that. But let's see. Waiting on the blow off valve kit. So the blow off valve kit, I figured out a way. I have a video coming out, so I don't want to spoil the video, but I did put some video. I did put some footage out, basically saying, "Hey, I did figure out how to do it." I have a working blow off valve kit. I have 2 or 3 different versions. The first version moves the mass airflow sensor. The thought process behind that was if air is escaping from the blow off valve because it's letting the air out from the turbo, I put the mass airflow sensor after that, so that way whatever air is left, the mass airflow sensor is going to read it and it should adjust for it. The problem is I have a tune in the car, so the mass airflow sensor is designed for basically being a suction stream, not a pressure stream. So it's making the car a little rich. So I tried another version where I moved the mass airflow sensor back to the original location and then ran the blow off valve, and that makes the car run incredibly rich. Also, the reason being is the mass airflow sensor, it's adjusting for the air coming in, but it doesn't know it's actually leaving. So in both situations, the mass airflow sensor either is being force fed twice as much air as it usually is, so it made the engine rich. In the other situation, the air is disappearing, so it's thinking what's coming through is actually there and it's not. So the fuel is going in, but the air is not there. And then I have a third version where I recirculated the blow off, which seems to work really well, and it fixed that turbocharger noise that all these big turbos make. So it's sort of a pain in the butt the way I did it, but eventually it's going to be a purchasable kit that you can just put on your car. One version is you need a tune. I'm trying to avoid the tune, not because tuners don't know what to do. It's more so that they're really busy and you don't want to leave your car hanging just for a tune file. So that's the only reason behind it. What's up, Craig? Good evening to you too. Where's everybody watching from? I'm always curious. I've been realizing that a lot of people in other countries watch my videos too. So it's pretty cool that I'm pretty much all over the place. In fact, I just sent an intercooler out to Singapore this week, which was really cool. Let's see, Bo. Are Willwoods better than Brembos? They seem spendy. Okay, so Willwoods are better in one situation to me. So if you were to put if you were to take a Willwood 6-piston caliper and put it next to a Brembo 4-piston caliper, the Brembo 4 pistons are actually a much larger caliper. The way you change pads on Brembos are much easier. You just knock a pin out. You can, you slide your pistons back, drop your pads in, put a new pin, you're done. With a Willwood, there's a pin and then also like a locking clip in the back, and those clips are a pain in the butt to get off, and when they come off, sometimes they shoot off and you lose them, and then now you're waiting for clips. And the other problem with their rotors is they're usually 2-piece, so that's why they're more spendy. So you would think, oh, I can just change out the rotor hat, I'll save money, but the rotor hat is usually more expensive than like a Brembo style rotor. Plus, they're physically smaller. So, for example, on my Cobra, I'm running a Mustang front end. So the wheel is so small that I couldn't get a Brembo kit to fit because the Cobra has a 17-inch wheel. And because I'm using a 70s Mustang front end, it made more sense for me to put a Willwood kit on the car because it's a much smaller package. The 6-piston with rotors is only like this big, whereas like the smallest Brembo kit is like that much larger, and the caliper 6 pistons like this big, but the Brembo 4 pistons like that big. So it's just a packaging thing. So for the Cobra, it made more sense. So that's where Willwood makes sense. If you have if you have like a Miata, you might want to go Willwood. But if you have like a G8 in your situation, you definitely want Brembo. Plus, if you have like a General Motors car, you can go Brembo and get General Motors parts to fit, which is a little easier. So that's my take on it. And I'm trying not to be biased because I am a Brembo guy, but I'm a Brembo guy for a reason. I always gravitate towards Brembo for the ease of operation and the braking ability. I know on my Cruze I'm running a 14-inch rotor with a 4-piston caliper, I ran the car at 35 miles an hour, and then I went basically slammed on the brakes, and the car at 35 miles an hour took 37 feet to get to zero. When I switched over to just front brakes, so it's 4 piston calipers, 14-inch rotors, just in the front, it took that 37 feet and dropped it down to 16 feet. So there's definitely massive braking ability when you go with Brembos, that's for sure. All right, so I don't want to get overrun with questions. Let me see what we got. So Fireworks, you're over in Indiana. How's it going? Um, let's see, Monticello, New York. That's cool. Let's see. Beal Knee. So we're getting tornadoes today. Oh wow. Are you? Where? Are you? Oh, Ohio. Wow, tornadoes in Ohio. I didn't even know that was a thing actually. Ohio's not that far away. I think you guys are only like 2 or 3 states away from me. Is it very flat over by you, Beal? Let's see, Mr. Boxer. How you doing? You know where I'm at. Actually, I don't know where you're at. I know where you're at now, but I thought you were in Florida. I got confused because you were traveling so much. Uh, let's see. So let's see. Firework. I want to give you guys a shout out. So Firework and Mr. Boxer, you guys are very helpful in the Discord server. I need your help. So you guys have been fantastic. I want to give a shout out to you guys don't know his screen name, but Dylan. I want to say thank you to you as well. You've been a huge help. And then Morosity, I think I said your name right. I'm sorry if I said your name wrong. I don't have your screen name in front of me because you're not on, but I think it's Morosity. You've been a big help too. You're one of my. More. Oh, I'm sorry. Morton Salty. I want to say thank you to you as well for helping me with this Discord. I'm a little too left feet with it, but you guys have been a big help. Let's see. Jeff, you're in California. How do you like California versus Phoenix? I have a friend that's out in Arizona. He has a YouTube channel too. It's 520 Speedworks. It'd be cool if he was on here. He's building a really nice Cobra. He builds so like my Cobra is a budget build where his Cobras are pretty much high dollar cars. Excuse me. Every one of the Cobras he's builds are like 6-figure cars and they're gorgeous. He has one that's like a metallic green color like my Corvette, just nicer. And he built another one that's like a metallic orange on Air Ride with, I think it has a big block under the hood, like a 427. His cars are amazing. So, he out in Arizona, it's funny because it could be like, I don't know, like 90 degrees and the sun and humidity are beating down on you. And then all of a sudden, like torrential downpour, sandstorm, rain, back to 90 again. It's crazy. Let's see, Travis. I seen where it is 2 bleeders on calipers. Will I need to crack both? Oh, actually, ironically, you're asking me about your calipers. Sorry. So Travis, you're putting one of the Cruze big brake kits on. Yes, you do have 2 bleeders. What you're gonna do is you're gonna bleed the inner bleeder. We'll talk about any caliper with 2 bleeders. You're gonna bleed your inner bleeder because basically the fluid first enters the caliper in the back. So you're gonna bleed that one bleeder first in the back. Then after you're done getting all the air out, you're going to bleed the front bleeder. And do that per caliper. And then you basically bleed the inner and outer on both. Bleed your rear and then go back and do it again. You want to get all the air out. Brembo calipers pretty much bleed nice and easy. I haven't had a problem with them. The only problem I ever had is if anybody ever puts the caliper upside down. So if you have a Brembo caliper upside down, you just can't get the air out. It's got to be bleeders up. Just remember to do that. And then also make sure you're using some sort of vacuum bleeder because you don't want to get any brake fluid on the calipers, and you want to go with a synthetic fluid. You want to use like a .5 synthetic, something that's safe for paint and powder coat, because if you use like the General Motors brake fluid, it will eat through the coating, and sometimes it'll eat through the seals. So pick up a really, really, really good fluid. You only change brake fluid like once or twice in a car's life, on average. Well, most people. Like once or twice, sometimes never. So at least put the good stuff in for now since you have a good braking system. What's up, Jonah? Oh, wait, where'd you go? I just lost you. You're in Texas. Let's see, Virginia. Adrian, how's it going? Montreal, Canada. Oh, thanks. I appreciate you coming in too. Well, thanks to everybody, actually. Let's see. Also, everyone just knows Brembos. Thus more impressive. Yeah, Brembo. To me, Brembos are more impressive because they are so simple with the way they're put together, and they perform so well. It's so easy to put a Brembo system on a car. I love Brembos. If I could work for Brembo, I would. That would be probably a dream job. Just thinking up crazy braking systems, I would love that. Uh, I wouldn't give up YouTube either. I'd make some really really cool Brembo videos. Minnesota, that's cool. Wow, you guys are everywhere. You know, I always wonder if a lot of people on like the East Coast like my videos, but you guys are literally all over the country. I think that's awesome. What's the car? You know what? In all these areas, what's the car life like? I know for me, where I am in like the south area of New Jersey, there's not a lot, but like in North Jersey, you know, I used to live over by Patterson, so there's always a lot of Camaros and Honda Civics and stuff. But there, you know, down here you maybe get like a small car show with like maybe 20 classic cars, and that would be it. But up north, you know, there might be a car show that's like 1,000 cars, which is pretty cool. Um, Ironically, someone just messaged me because they heard on the live stream that the bleeders need to be up, and they actually put the bleeders down. So I'm not gonna say who it was, but I'm glad I said that. So good thing that helped you. Let's see. Where I'm Ohio, I'm in Mansfield. We're getting storms right now. A lot of people are getting hit with a lot of storms right now. I know somebody. I think it was in Florida. You guys got hit with a hurricane, and it was like hailing too at the same time, which is crazy. Grantsville. Let's see. Neil, near Tip City, there was a fire there, and it's super flat. Oh wow. You know, it's funny. I saw. I don't know what they call it. I think it's called a fire nado. So where it's like a fire, but then there's also a tornado at the same time. So when you have like a brush fire and a tornado, the fire doesn't go out. The wind from the tornado fuels it, and then it gets pulled up through the tornado. So it literally is just like a spinning fire tornado. It's like the coolest thing. But if it were happening in front of my house, it would terrify me. So I definitely wouldn't like that. But it's cool to see. Let's see. Really. Let's see. Arcanum had one near it too. I guess Arcanum is out by you. Not a fire tornado. Texas. Sorry guys, I'm trying to catch up on questions, but it's really cool that where everyone's from. Let's see. I'm gonna cut past. You guys are talking to each other, so I'm gonna cut past some of it. Let's see. Craig, born and raised. Cool. That's pretty cool. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Mr. Boxster. Imagine a caliper and a pad literally covers the whole disc. Ironically, now that you said that, I think Porsche has a caliper that's... So imagine a rotor. Obviously, it's round, right? Imagine a caliper that wraps about 90% of the way around. And you have to actually split the caliper to get the pad out. No, you have to split the caliper. How'd they do it? No. The rotor's round, obviously. The caliper drops onto it, so there's slits in the caliper. And then the pads are like giant horseshoes. I forget what that was on. I think it's some kind of high performance, like a uber high performance race car. But I remember seeing a Porsche one. It was gigantic, and it was like an 18-inch rotor, some crazy thing. I don't know if it was a concept or something. But they do have stuff like that out there. It's pretty crazy, and I would love to play around with something like that. I always imagine that. I imagine in my head sometimes you can over brake a car, like a car. Like for example, like my Cobra, right? I'm happier putting the smaller Willwood brakes on the Cobra, because that car only weighs, I think something like 2,000 pounds, right? So let's say I were to put a 16-inch rotor with a 6-piston caliper in the front and rear. Hitting the brakes might not stop the car. What it might do is actually lock up the wheels. And because it has no ABS, the car would just slide. Instead of actually stopping, it'll just grind the tires down. So you definitely want to watch for being too big on a car. And I always wondered if over braking a car, like a G8, for example, is like a 4,000-pound car. So like a 4-piston, 6-piston brake setup is perfect. But I always wondered if you go with like an 8-piston setup and some massive 16-inch rotor, or like a 10-piston setup, which may not exist, but if it did, and like a 20-inch rotor, like something gigantic, would actually cause a problem with the car being able to even drive just from brake drag. These are the things that I like think about all the time that I would love to test. When the channel grows and it gets bigger and I have like a team of people that can work with me, this is the dumb stuff I would love to try. I would love to figure out how to build and cast my own like 10 piston caliper, and maybe use like a Silverado rotor that's like 17 inches in diameter, and just figure this stuff out. Figure out the right amount of like brake drag versus um, braking ability, and where you need to be on a certain weight car. Like that's sort of the stuff I love. I love tinkering, and I love figuring out the weird things like that. Let's see. I'm gonna skip past where you guys are talking to each other, just because I don't think anybody listening is wants to hear that kind of stuff. If they're listening later on. Oh, cool. DK Royalty. I appreciate you showing up. I'm sorry. I didn't want to bother you. I know you were on. You took a road trip, and I didn't want to bother you today because I figured you were on vacation. But I really appreciate you donating. That's a big help. Thank you. All that. Yeah, you've been a member for 3. Oh, that's cool. That's nice. It shows you what your level is and how long you've been a member. I appreciate that. Yeah, you're really cool. I talk to you all the time. It's nice to get. It's nice that I try to keep in touch. A lot of you who are in the membership, I talk to everybody, but people who are in the membership, I try my hardest to get to know you like you're almost like a family friend, like someone I've grown up with, because you support me and you help put food on the table and keep the channel going. In return, I give you guys discounts on parts. I give you guys content that no one else gets to see. And I try to keep in touch with you guys as much as possible. Just at sheer respect. I want to have as much respect for you guys as I can. Also, if you're part of the membership and I haven't contacted you directly, it's because I don't have your information. So some of you guys, I want you to message me too on the membership. Somebody's messaging me right now, joking around. I want you guys to message me on the email so I can keep in touch with you as well. But thank you. Let's see. Let's skip past. Slam Civics and swatted pavement princesses. What's up, Daniel? Yeah, when I lived in North Jersey, so like a Honda Civic slammed to the ground was the norm. But you know what? Now that I'm older, a car like a Honda, let's use the Acura Integra, right? The like early 2000s Acura Integra Type R. I did not realize how amazing that car was until now. So like something like that, when I was like in my early 20s, I would have thought, not a Camaro, don't care. But nowadays, I realize how amazing that thing is. I mean, the fact that you can put a VTEC engine with like 600 horsepower in that chassis and have like a double wishbone suspension and be able to do like a G and a half in a turn, that is an amazing car. And that same car now, even factory, like a Acura Integra Type R, if you want to buy one right now, is like a $30,000 car. Last I checked, like, I don't remember Honda Civics and Acuras being worth that much, but cars like that are so good that it's definitely worth it. Something like that, like a Supra, Honda Civic, like those are cool. But if you had talked to me when I was like 19 years old, I would have made fun of that. But nowadays, I love it. I love pretty much all cars now, especially the way things are going with being car people and the way the EPA is coming in and messing with a lot of companies. Any car with an engine makes me happy. Some electric cars are cool, but anything with an engine, 4-cylinder, hell, even a 2-cylinder. Let's see, DK Royalty, a 10 caliper piston, yeah, or 10 piston caliper, yeah, that would be so cool. I would love to figure out how to cast and make something like that. Malibu with, let's see, Mr. Boxer, Malibu with a 21-inch rims on 20-inch rotors. Yeah, that would look cool. And you know what? I don't want to let the cat out of the bag, but I figured out a 6-piston brake system for the Cruze with, I think the rotors I'm going to be using are going to be about just shy of like basically almost 15 inches in diameter. It's a crazy system. I haven't put it on the car yet because that goes back to over braking a car. The Chevy Cruze is 3,000 pounds, and I think that might be too much braking for that car, but it's definitely really cool. And if it works, I probably can make it work on your Malibu too, by the way, just to give you a heads up. Let's see, St. Jonah, Texas, jacked up trucks, classic cars. I only know of 2 people that have custom Cruzes in Houston. I think you're one of them, actually, which is funny. Unless that's 2 other. Well, you have a really cool one. I wish we could share pictures and stuff in the live chat. That would be really cool. Let's see, Elazar. Hopefully, I'm saying your name right. Here in RGV South, Texas, it's more about, what is that? A takush? Wait, hold on. Let me just read that right. What is I think I'm saying this wrong. Takushe? And it says possums in parentheses. I don't know if that's an animal or a truck. Which are guys driving drop trucks and cam. Oh, is that like a Can-Am? Oh, drop trucks. I'm sorry. Guys are driving drop trucks with cams and slicks. Oh, that's pretty cool. Well, I guess that's because you guys do a lot of drag racing out there. I mean, you do a lot of things. But a lot of drag. I know there's a lot of you have a big drag racing scene. You have a big off-roading scene. So I guess Texas is gigantic. Texas alone is like what, 1/3 of America in size, right? Or let's call it, just for argument's sake, let's just call it like 1/3 in size of America. So like if you're in like North Texas, are you doing like lifted trucks? And if you're in like South Texas, is it like lowered trucks? Maybe in the middle you have a little bit of both, and then maybe in part of Texas it's like all hunting, so it's just like stock trucks that are good for off-roading. I don't know, but I would imagine it's so big that like you could live in one part of Texas and not have any idea what the other part of Texas is like because it's so massive. Where I live, like the entire state is only 230 miles across, so I can drive the whole state in half a day. Where it might take you an entire day or maybe even 2 days to get across Texas. I don't know. Texas is massive. That's all I'm saying. Let's see. Oh, nice, DK royalty. So you're saying that you might be doing a built Cruze motor. So in your situation, no one would know this. You have a hurt engine. So in your situation, doing a built engine, I'm really curious to see. What you do and what you come up with. I know we were going back and forth with a couple ideas. In fact, on the last live stream, we were talking about swapping in maybe a 1.5 liter engine from a Malibu and building that one up because the displacement's slightly larger. But you would definitely have a lot of options. And I'm wondering if some of the Generation 1 Cruze internal parts will work in the Generation 2 Ecotech engine. Maybe. I mean, if a piston's the exact same diameter and a connecting rod is the same measurements in the Generation 1 as a Generation 2, in theory they might work. I would just worry about how they get oiled. I wish we had an engine builder in my group that we could talk to. Or maybe I might have to go down that same road you're going down, actually, to figure that one out. Let's see. Mr. Boxer. Oh, you're excited. Yeah, me too, actually. Dave, I forgot to mention in the Discord, but I rode a motorcycle the very first time today, and it was very fun. Oh, that's cool. Mr. Boxer, what type of bike and what CC was it, if you know? Hopefully, I mean, if you're doing like a class, they probably put you on I would imagine like a 150cc or like a 250cc, something small and not aggressive is the best thing to ride when you first get trying to get your license. Let's see, Adrian. Can you take a photo of under your car with your dual exhaust? Well, wait, Adrian, I lost you. With your dual exhaust set up in the Cruze. I'm trying to get something done here, and I'm being told I can't. You can, if you're getting something custom done. See, it depends on where you split your pipe, right? So my car is the RS. So on my car, I have that RS lower valence, but the regular Cruze should have the same situation. You only have about 6 inches to work with. So if you're going to go to basically, if you split at the muffler, you can run a pipe straight down the back of the bumper, but you can only use like a 3-inch long tip, or it's going to stick out too far. If you go where the muffler is, you can use a 6-inch long tip, and you can put them on each side, and then you can split in front of the spare tire. Like basically where the spare tire would go, you would have to run a pipe in front of that and run 2 mufflers, or unless you're going straight pipe, you can just run 2 pipes that way. That's how I would do it. That's really the only way to do it. But if you go where I have my tips, it's very short and narrow there. It's sort of a pain in the butt to put an exhaust if you go in that exact spot. What rear bumper do you have on your car, Adrian? I'll be getting my license at the end of the month. Oh, that's fun. Travis and I, we talk about riding all the time. I haven't ridden my bike in months, but I really want to get it out. Let's see. Oh, Fireworks, I appreciate you coming. Have a nice night. Let's see, St. Jonah. Nobody likes driving through Texas. It's a long drive, and it's very true. The whole bunch of diversity. Yeah. My brother just moved out to Texas. He's out by Austin. I don't know what it's like out there because the pictures he sends me. He never sends me pictures of like the city. He just sends me pictures of like his balcony and backyard. But I know if I ever move, Texas and Florida are definitely on my radar for places I want to be. Is Travis, you drive me crazy. I want Travis, if you're still in the chat, I want you to know that I would be sitting there making fun of you. I can't respond verbally with what I want to tell you because I know the video would get taken down, but you know what I would say back to you. That's funny. So if you guys hear a ding, it's probably Travis making fun of me, just so you know. Um, let's see. He's sending me smiley faces. He knows what I'm talking about. There was a live stream I did where Travis was making fun of me, and I made fun of him back on the live stream, and YouTube took the video down because of what I was saying. So I had to cut that part out of the live stream to get it back up. So that's why he's making fun of me. He knows I can't say anything back to him because I'm busy. I'll get you. Let's see. Nobody likes driving through Texas. Yeah. So in Texas, like if I were going to be in Texas and I made a move, I would want to be somewhere where I have mountains. And that's one thing I don't know. I guess Texas has that, right? So Texas is so big that there probably is mountains. I would assume there's mountains in the northern part of Texas, and that's where I want to be because that's usually where the mountain is where the nice twisty, windy roads and the scenery comes in. That's that because I know like I'm down by the shore, and everywhere by me now is just all flat and boring, and there's no mountains by me. I have to drive like an hour to get to something twisty, and some scenery. Scenery down here we have different types of scenery. Like we have boats and ocean and beaches and some forests. Like I'm out by the Pine Barrens, so you have some forests and stuff, but there's no really like high bank roads that I used to have where I lived north on the mountains. I miss that. Let's see. Let's see. I just missed Mr. Boxster. I was just a little dual sport my buddy owns. I don't remember what model, but I know it was about a 250. Yeah, you definitely want to start on a smaller bike, and here's why. Well, first of all, smaller bikes are more fun. Like I have equivalent of like a 1400 sport bike. I have a VMAX 1200 that's bored and stroked out with a custom exhaust system. So realistically, my bike has something like 100. I think it's like 160 horsepower. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's like 160 horsepower. That's a lot of horsepower for a motorcycle. So if you were going to get your motorcycle license, I would never let you start on something like that for two reasons. A, too much power, and B, a larger motorcycle is typically very tall and heavy. So it's like a 250 is a lower bike. It's smaller, it's lighter, and usually a 250 has like 50 horsepower. So like when you let's say you let up on the clutch too fast on a 250, it might just stall, or if it takes off aggressively, it's not that extreme. On like a 1400 sport bike, if you let up on the clutch too fast, you might actually do a wheelie. The bike might be tall, so you might be on your tippy toes. And if you're on like a cruiser, if you're on like a cruiser and it's a big heavy bike, you might be on your tippy toes and you might not be able to handle the weight. So that's why I always recommend like a low 250 cc. They're the best bikes, and they're actually a lot more fun than the more powerful bikes because you can rev the hell out of them. And you feel like you're doing 100 miles an hour, and then you look down at your speedometer, you're doing like 35. Because those engines scream the whole time, which is fun. Let's see, it's a Suzuki GS. Let's see, I have his other bike is a 1980 Suzuki Gs750. It's funny, even though that bike's from the 80s, it's probably one of the fastest bikes on the road. A Ninja too. I remember when actually a GS750 Suzuki probably looks more like a cruiser, even though it's technically a sport bike. So I think it's a cruiser with like a V4 engine, and it sounds like a sport. It sounds like a sport bike, but it's actually looks like a cruiser. That's actually the very first sport bike, like that era of motorcycle. And then when you get into like the Ninja, they decided to put like fairings for aerodynamics. And then I could be wrong, but I think in like 1984, the Ninja broke the top speed, like land speed record for like cars and motorcycles. I forget what speed it went, but I think it was 200 miles an hour. I might be wrong. I haven't thought motorcycles in a while. But just making it more aerodynamic is what helped that bike, and it broke some records, which is really cool. Let's see. Let's see. Mr. Boxer, and my MSF class is at the end of the month. That's cool. Good luck with that. Hopefully your test isn't as a pain in the butt as mine. I know some states something as simple as like just riding in a circle without falling is all you have to do. Other states you do a written and then you do like a practical riding exam. Like basically you do a written and then after the written you go out and there's like a course where they just want to watch you do like a slalom. Like for me it was a slalom. Then it was, you know, when to stop at a stop sign. Then it was how to back the bike up and then turn around, like a K turn, and then what else? Oh, then it was they just want to actually see where you are on the lane, so they have like a little tiny like road course, and I think that was it. In some states, you just go out with an instructor and you ride, and then I think one other state I heard where you actually do the course, and the instructor goes out with you, and at the end of the course they just give you your license. So that's pretty cool in some states. Let's see, Adrian. I have a 2018 Premier. I'm thinking of getting another stock muffler and place it on the other side, going for that look. Yeah, that's a cool idea. I personally don't like loud exhaust, so like my car is pretty much all factory exhaust up to the rear. In fact, at one point I had an insert in the exhaust that made the car even quieter because I was dealing with a drone. The drone ended up coming from the vacuum pump on the camshaft. So once I figured out the vacuum pump problem and went big turbo, I took the insert out because it was choking down the turbo. Stock wise, I like more of a quiet car because I do a lot of driving. Let's see, I would love to get a Chevy SS, but there's no support here as they are sold in. They weren't sold in Canada. I never knew that. They were sold in Australia, and I think in Australia they have the kilometer gauge. So I wonder if you can import. Do you guys drive on the left-hand side in Canada or the right-hand side in Canada? I'm curious about that. I guess it depends on what part of Canada you're in. Guys, I have to hide some of the comments. If you throw in swearing in the chat, you're not in trouble or anything, but it actually won't show up in the chat. So just change some of the words you use, and then your comments will show up. I don't think anybody knows that actually. Let's see. I just want to see where I found you. Let's see where I left off. Sorry. Give me a sec. I'm just trying to find out where we just left off because I had to go through some of the. I had to delete a message because it was held for review. Let's see. They're pretty cooker cutter. I gotta get the right blend in front of the spare tire and then just get a hanger. When you look under there, should be a mount on the passenger side, and plan on doing the same. Yeah. So when I got under our cars, one thing I saw is there's a tunnel on both sides. So it's almost like I think the Malibu has dual exhaust, so it's almost like they were planning. It's almost like they were planning to do like an SS version of our cars with maybe a 1.5 liter and to have the dual exhaust in place. So there is room for two mufflers. And if you want to get really crazy, I wonder if you could take a Malibu lower bumper area and mold that into the Cruze, or it might even work. I don't know, because those cars are pretty close in parts that it might actually work. It almost looks like a stretched out version of a Cruze. Let's see, Mr. Boxer. The bike I'm waiting to get as my first is a Husky Svartpillen. Wow, what is that German? A 401. I never even heard of that actually. What is that? Correct me if I'm wrong. The fact that it says 401, I'm assuming that's the CC, but I don't. Is that an electric bike? That sounds like almost like an electric bike name. I've never heard of that before. Let's see. I'll send you. Yeah, send me a picture of it. I'm curious. So let's see. You said you'll send a picture of the Gs750 looks like, and you'll see what I mean about modified. Yeah, my first bike was a. Let me think. My first motorcycle was a Yamaha XS650. So it was Yamaha's first attempt at a sport bike in the 80s. I think it was in 1982. And it had a V4. So it sounded awesome, but it looked like a cruiser. So that was a really cool bike to start on. It was just the right size. You know, it was a 650, but it was big enough for my wife and I to fit on it, but small enough
for it to be a first bike, it wasn't too hard to handle, and it was really, and you sat upright. I really like motorcycles where you sit upright because I don't like leaning back too far sometimes, and I don't like having to lay forward on it. Basically, for a first motorcycle, you want to be upright because you can see better. I don't like sport bikes as a first bike because you can't see the front wheel. You definitely want to get something where you can see the wheel because if you have no experience on a motorcycle and you're riding down the road and you hit like a tar snake could be very slippery. So if you have a sport bike and you can't see your front wheel, you can't place the motorcycle. Especially with a pothole, like you don't want to be blocked by the front fairing on a motorcycle when you first get your license, because if you're coming up on something that's a big dip, your wheel could be so small you'll drop into a pothole and it could unsettle the motorcycle and you could fall off. So you definitely want to be able to maneuver around things, and you want safety. So like an open wheel front end is a little more safer, at least in my opinion. Let's see, St. Jonah. Oh wait, Elazar, I just saw you pop up. I'm just trying to find your message. Jeff, you said I'm gonna do a dual pipe, but I'm going to have the tips of my exhaust come out behind the rear tires. Oh, that's a cool idea. But in my bumper, I'm going to put the exhaust flanges in the bumper so the pipes don't melt. Yeah, that's a good idea. You know what they make if you're going to do something like that? They make a flange. They make a flange that basically bolts to the bumper. It's flat. You cut it. Let's say you cut a 3-inch hole in the bumper. You bolt the flange in, and it gives you like a 2.5-inch opening, and then the exhaust pipe goes through the center. So what this does is it allows you to put a heat shield. It allows you to put a heat shield on the bumper and put the exhaust through the center, so you don't actually melt your bumper, and it blocks the heat from the bumper because it's an insert too. You might want to do something like that. Guys, I'm sorry I keep drinking water. I'm having trouble with my stomach, and my acid reflux is really hurting me today. I ran out of my medication for my stomach, and they couldn't get it to me today, so I'm running on like 2 days with no medication, and it's really hurting, so sometimes it's hard to talk. Let's see. I'm going to do St. Jonah. Very welcome, Adrian. Elazar. You got my name right. Oh, awesome. Thank you. And yes, the RGV is a huge mix with the car scene, and it is mostly LS owners, and there's as many performance shots. Yeah, that's, you see, in the future, I've told my wife that that noise you're hearing, that's Travis making fun of me, just so you guys know. So in the future, a couple states I would think to move to would be like states that are pretty okay with car scenes, or maybe even trucks. So like where I am, it's pretty close to New York, and typically what happens is whatever's going on in California, New York seems to follow suit, and then it trickles through to where I am. And if it gets to a point where they're like attacking car people, like let's say if they're at the point where you're doing nothing wrong and you have a nice car and you're literally getting pulled over just for having a car that looks cool, and there's modifications that are legal but you're getting messed with, I'm ready to move. Especially if I see like electric cars and coming in and gas stations disappearing, I'm moving to whatever states is still hanging on to gas stations. So Texas might be on my list because Texas is its own. Texas is a republic. It's actually not an actual state. It's a republic. I could be wrong. I don't know how that is, but basically, Texas governs itself, and I like that because there's no handcuffs on Texas. So that's where I would want to be, and that's maybe one day that might be where I end up, especially since my brother moved there, and we're fairly close. Let's see. I personally have a 2016 Silverado Crew Cab with a front box. Oh, that's nice, Elazar. I just got rid of a 2009 Silverado, and I love those big beefy bodies that they put on the like 2009 is like the fourth generation Silverado, and then what you have is the fifth generation Silverado. Like in the fourth generation that I had, they made the trucks wider and thicker, and then they carried that into your generation. I love those trucks, and one of these days I'm going to get another one. The only reason I got rid of mine, I don't think you have a problem where you are, but where I am, the frame started rotting. To get a replacement frame was like $10,000. And I don't have time to take the entire body and engine and everything off the truck and redo my frame. So I was like, you know what? I can get like $9,000 for the truck because it was during COVID. I was like, you know what? Let me sell the truck for like $9,000, and then when the dust settles on used prices, I'll find another Silverado that's in better shape and just buy another one someday. So I'm just using the Equinox right now as my everyday vehicle in the Cruze, and then when the dust settles on prices, I'll go out and buy another Silverado. So see, I'm just waving my hands. I want to make sure the camera's working. I'll buy another Silverado that has a better frame, and that actually made more sense. Like sell the truck for $9,000, wait, buy a truck that doesn't have a frame problem for $9,000, and then boom, problem solved. Versus keeping my truck and then spending $10,000 on a frame, and God knows what else might go bad on the truck in the future. So it made more sense just to sell it and buy something better later. And who knows, maybe I'll get a newer truck for a cheaper price. Let's see, Adrian. Left side same as the U.S. So just so you know, Adrian, if you wanted to get a Chevy SS, see, I don't know what importing rules are. So because you're technically North America, you're part of what the North American. Is that a peninsula? Oh, geez, I don't even know. I'm sorry, I might have that wrong. So when you look at something when they say North America and South America, like we're the Americas, right? So is it considered importing if you're taking a car from America and bringing it to Canada, right? So let's say you buy a brand new American car and you bring it to Canada. Is it considered an import, or is it considered or can you not import it? Like in America, let's say you want to import a car from another country and be exempt on emissions and then be able to import it. It has to be older than like 25 years. So in America, you can get a left-hand drive car from China and you can import it legally. Is it the same rule for Canada? But if not, and you can get like a 2015 Chevy SS, well, you can get a 2015 Chevy SS, buy the Australian speedometer, which is in kilometers, the Australian radio, and you can run kilometers like it'll be like a Canadian car. That was my point. That's why I was curious. Sorry it took me a little while to get to you because there are other questions. But like if I were in Canada and I can get a 2015 and you want a Chevy SS, that might be the way to do it. At least for me, because the Chevy SS is my all-time favorite car. Actually, the GTO is my all-time favorite, which is a Holden. The Chevy SS is another Holden. That's my second favorite car. And then the Chevy Cruze, this first generation Cruze, is another Holden. That's an amazing car. And then when they went to the second generation Cruze, they started using Opals. The Opel Astra is what the second generation Cruze is. It's sort of a mix between Holden parts, and I think Opel it's European. I don't know what company makes them, but it's like a mix between the two, which is why the car is a little weird in some places. Let's see, left side, Mr. Boxer. The new Malibu has the fake dual tips. Oh, really? I didn't know that, actually. Oh, it's not an electric bike? I've never even heard of that motorcycle. I didn't even know if I was pronouncing it correctly. But that's cool. And then again, just in motorcycle world, I really love VMAXs. So like if you were to talk VMAXs with me, I would know all the specs. But I don't know, like cars, like I know a lot of new cars and I know a lot of the cool cars that are out there. But with motorcycles, I only know like certain bikes. Especially like Yamaha. I'm a huge fan of Yamaha. So I know a lot of different Yamaha motorcycles and engine sizes. So if you were talking Yamaha with me, I'd be a little better at it. Let's see, Adrian. The front grille of a 2019 Cruze without the logo will work on a 17 and 18 Cruze if you cut off the lower grille. Oh, cool. I didn't even know that. I didn't know you could do that. So Cruze people, if you want to update your grille to something a little different, you can run the 2019 grille on the older model. You just have to modify it slightly. Actually, Adrian, I might have seen you... Excuse me, guys. I might have seen you on the Facebook page post something like that. So if you're in my Facebook group, I don't know if it's the same name, but I think I might have seen you do that to your car, and it was pretty cool looking. Let's see, Jeff. My dad in New York had to do figure eight. Oh yeah, figure eights for the motorcycle test. That's pretty cool. I mean, believe it or not, depending on the motorcycle you're on, it might be hard because the figure eight might only be a 20-foot long figure eight. So on a really big motorcycle, that might be really hard. But on like a little, 200cc motorcycle, it'll be very easy. It's funny when you guys take the motorcycle exam. The very first thing they do is put you on a bicycle to make sure you can learn how to balance. DK Royalty. Let's see. Dealership said I melted the piston in number... Oh, wow. So DK Royalty has, I think, a 2017 Cruze. He melted cylinder number 1 because the tune was way too aggressive. Ouch. Wow. Huh. Well, I'm not going to say whose tune that was, but I will say you guys definitely, if you're going to be tuning your Cruzes, might want to start putting air-fuel ratio gauges in your car. And I mean, not... When I say air-fuel ratio gauge, I don't mean like a plug-in OBD2, because those show on, like, the... Basically, an OBD2 scanner is going to show the target air-fuel ratio. But a wide-band air-fuel ratio gauge, like I have in my car, that'll show you a true air-fuel ratio. So, if you have a melted piston, you were either way too lean or way too rich. And if you had a wide band air fuel ratio gauge, you would have been able to catch that earlier. Or at certain RPM, you might be off. Wow. That sucks. I don't want to say who the tuner was, but that sucks. I'm sorry to hear that. Let's see. By the way, DK Royalty, I do appreciate you donating to me during the live chat, also knowing that you have to do an engine in your car. But and I appreciate that. Let's see, Adrian. The stock muffler from the scrapyard is about $400 for the Cruze. I don't want drone. Yeah. I do have a way to kill drone. You can use a J-pipe, which is cool. I have a lot of stuff I can do videos on. I'm a one-man operation, so pumping videos out with all of my ideas takes time. Instead of me pumping out like 2 videos a week and they're crap videos, I prefer to wait. I prefer to do like one video like every 2 weeks to give you guys a very quality video. So a lot of these ideas that I have, eventually you're going to see. I have a lot of really cool fabricating stuff coming up, and I know how to kill drone. But again, that's what my membership is for. So if you're in the membership and you're having a problem with your car, a lot of times I could just send you footage or a video through my membership just to help you guys out. Travis, I'm going to get you back for this. Travis, don't forget, I can edit. I'm going to make a video about you, and I'll post it everywhere. I would never do that, but I'm just busting you back. Let's see. Mr. Boxer just sent you pics in Discord. Thanks. I appreciate that. DK Royalty. They were able to see the computer was unlocked, which is what I was expecting. Oh, wow. I didn't even know that. I'm assuming that's the Chevy dealership that said that. Elazar. Just got a Sportster. They are great for beginners, and it comes in an 883cc and a 1200. Oh, that's cool. The Sportster is an underrated motorcycle. So if you're like a Harley guy and somebody else who has a Harley hears that you have a Sportster, they sort of make fun of you in the Harley world. But the Harley Sportster is actually an amazing bike. It was designed literally for what it's called. It's a sport motorcycle. It's supposed to be lightweight, handle good, have a decent amount of power, and accelerate decently. Oh, sorry guys, my stomach is not agreeing with me tonight. Just so you know, while I'm talking, my esophagus is on fire because I have what's known as gastritis, and I didn't have my medication for 2 days, so I'm hurting. I probably shouldn't have done a live stream, but I promised everyone I was going to do it today. But I'm having a tough time talking at this point because I've been doing it for an hour, so I might call it quits soon, but I want to try and get back to everybody as fast as I can. Oh no, that wasn't me on Facebook, Adrian. Oh cool. Okay, so you were waiting for some 2000. I have a friend in the Facebook group, Garrett. He can get you parts too because he salvages these cars. So if you ever need anything, just let me know or let him know. I put him as a group expert. So if you can't find him, just go into the group expert section. Saint Jonah, Adrian. As far as I know, yes, the outside shapes are the same. And they just added cosmetics depending on if it's in the if it's a Premier or an RS. So they're talking about the just for anybody listening later, they're talking about swapping grills on a Cruze. Elazar, my wife says it's her truck, and after I did what I did to it, it has color matching fender flare. Oh, cool! Headers, X-pipe, Flowmasters. I think probably sounds amazing. I think. Do you have the 6-liter engine or the what do they have, a 5? I don't know if they got rid of the 5.3 for that generation, the LS engine. Let's see, St. Jonah, the RS rear bumper can fit directly onto mine. It doesn't matter if it's an 18 or a 19. That's cool. Yeah, I don't think they went too crazy with the 19 other than some cosmetic stuff because why would they change a lot of things and then kill the car? General Motors decided to go all SUV by 2020, and then now they released that they're doing all electric by, I think, well, 2035, the government's forcing them to do it, but I think by 2025, they're going all electric. So, like the Silverado, the Equinox, I think they're going to have a Corvette electric sports car, but they're also doing a Corvette electric SUV. And the Camaro is probably coming back as an electric SUV. I don't think we're going to get a Camaro car again, ever again, unfortunately. Guys, I think I caught up with all the questions. I am going to end. I'm not ending this short. It's been an hour. I kind of wanted to keep this to an hour. I'm actually in a lot of pain, and I'm trying my hardest to talk, but you guys have never seen me this way. This is stuff you don't see on camera, but this is why I try to take my medication. I'm pretty much hurting right now, so... Adrian, the Cruze is still available in the South American market. That's cool. Oh, really? So like in Mexico and like down in that area? That's pretty cool. Oh, you know what? Brazil. I know a lot of people are getting exhaust stuff from Brazil. And I know in like I just sent something out to Singapore that you can still get like a 2020 and a 2021 Cruze out there too. So in the Asias you can pick that car up still too. But in the Americas, unfortunately, the Cruze is no more. Which I think is a big mistake because I think they should have kept around the Cruze as a hot hatch because everybody likes a hatchback car, especially that you can get in manual. Well, enthusiasts like manuals, but car buyers like automatics. Let's see. DK Royalty, let me know if you'd like to chat on the phone for a bit about the motor situation today. DK Royalty, tonight I'm not going to be able to because I'm actually in a lot of pain, even though you guys possibly can tell. I'm actually going to end the live stream in about a minute or so. But I definitely want to talk to you about what to do with the engine because I'm curious to see what we can do. Since you're in a situation that you have to put a custom engine in, I have a couple ideas as to what you can do. So I definitely want to talk to you. Guys, I appreciate you coming on the live stream today. Sorry if I'm hurting a little bit tonight, so sorry about that part. But I definitely had fun. This was a cool conversation, especially about motorcycles and doing exhaust and stuff. I try to keep the live stream... not just about Cruzes because a lot of you guys come from different worlds. I know, for example, Bo, you popped in a little bit. You have a G8. A lot of you guys have Cruzes. Some of you guys are here because you like the Cobra. We were talking about Silverados. Like I definitely like all cars, and my channel isn't just about the Cruze, but my biggest community is the Cruze, which is why I focus on you guys because I also have one too. So thanks again, everybody. Have a great night. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one, and yeah, if you need anything, just contact me. See you later.